What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel once again, and welcome back to episode 3 of TSGG Indie Adventures. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into Sniper Elite 4 by Rebellion Developments and enjoying some of the fast-paced and interesting action that they have provided us in this game. This is actually my favorite indie so far that we have done. I know I'm probably going to say that each and every week, but I hope you do enjoy. As always, if you do, leave a like and subscribe, and have an awesome week. Okay, so let's dive right into it. Why do I believe Sniper Elite 4 deserves to be in our TSGG Indie Adventures series? Basically, we're going to start with the fun factor and immersions, as we always do. We're going to dive right into the template, and I'm going to tell you why this is one of my favorite indie games, as you saw in the opening. And like I said, I'm going to say it every week probably because these are just so fun. Each and every one of these games is completely different and so fun, and they all have strengths and weaknesses, but this one right here is actually one of my favorites. When I found out that this game was an independent developer, I actually couldn't believe it. This was actually one of their first published games that they independently published as well. So just an awesome job, awesome company. If you don't know Rebellion Developments, they are a UK-based company, and they've been doing this for about 25 years now. They do comic books. They do a ton of stuff in the industry, so check them out if you're interested. But yeah, let's dive right into it. First and foremost, the fun factor and emergence in this game, it comes from the immersion that the game creates for you. Whether it's from the slow motion bullet trail as it goes into your enemy, if you hit a cool shot like a headshot, eye shot, things like that, or slow mode for you, which is very cool. It's been a cool mechanic in quite a few games now, I think. But I do believe they were actually one of the first to do it. So that's really cool, and it kind of sets them apart a little bit in that. Another thing is the feel of this game. As kind of a Sniper Elite, you're by yourself, and you feel that. You feel alone when you get found or you get caught. Your stealth mechanic fails, whatever it is, you feel alone. You are by yourself against a horde of enemies, basically. And that's something that it just really puts you in the game and makes you feel like you have to focus, you have to be in the sniper's shoes. And that is something in video games that I absolutely love. So really well done by them there, and I think that really does play into the fun factor and immersion of the game because of the fact that you have to put yourself in the sniper's shoes. If you're gonna hit a guy from a long shot, but then is that gonna alert the enemies around him? What are you gonna do from this step to this step to get your target? And I think that and the planning that goes into that and the actual it makes you feel it's sort of like Hitman, the games from. With those from the movie, they are also very similar to this, where you have to actually plan out each step of the way, because if you're caught or if something happens, you are on an island. You are all alone, and that's how this game makes you feel. So that's very, very fun and enjoyable in that aspect. It can also be difficult, I'm going to be honest with you. Control and gameplay mechanics is our next category, and this is where this game really set itself apart to me because of the fact that I would do something and I'm like, wow, that's super cool. Let's do that again. Like, the stealth mechanic is so important in this, and it's one of my favorite parts of any game, really. There's not a lot of stealth games out there. There are a few, but there's not as much kind of a stealth fighter game like this game has, stealth shooter, I should say. You are basically a sniper. You're tasked with each target or certain targets, and going about the way that you kill that target is up to you. In the video, unfortunately, you don't see it, but there have been times where I've hidden corners, let all the enemies go by, stuck one of them with a grenade, and killed the whole team. And there are, of course, achievements for that. Ghost Grenade was the one that I got for that. And it's just very cool, the mechanics of this and the decision-making that the game puts on you. They give you a target. It is up to you to figure out how you're going to take that person out, as well as taking out all of the other enemies in the compound or wherever it happens to be. Moving on from there, I talked a little bit about it, like the slow-mo shots and things like that you can make that really, they go in depth. So think brutalities or fatalities fatal blows in Mortal Kombat, where it kind of zooms in and does the X-ray. This does the exact same thing. So if you hit like a headshot from long distance or an eye shot, it'll actually zoom in, show you the X-ray of it, and show you how you ended up finishing that opponent. So very, very cool that way, and it is something that does set the game apart in the shooter genre a little bit. Moving on into other mechanics of the game that I do enjoy is the actual looting. There are things that you can miss if you don't loot the targets that you're actually taking out. There are certain papers that you're supposed to collect from your targets. In one of the missions, there were 4 targets, and I long shot one from a long distance, and I never went and looted him, so I missed out on one of the papers. And that is something that the game forces you to consider, which is another really cool element to it, even though it does make it somewhat more difficult on the whole. But moving on from gameplay mechanics, we're going to go into the graphics, and this is kind of, it's not AAA, so it's not well, I guess think Blackout. Blackout kind of has the graphics quite similar to this because of the fact that I think Blackout's such a huge map, and that things may miss out on the actual high-end graphics that the other multiplayer modes of Call of Duty have. Think that when you're looking at this game, it is a few years old and it's made by an independent developer, so I don't fault them for any of it because the game is still pretty, it still runs really well. It's just, it's flat, I guess, are the best way to say it, or to describe the graphics in the game. It just doesn't really have the pop or the vibrancy of like a real life, which is kind of where the AAAs have taken it at this point. But it's still very well done. It's pretty. It's just kind of flat for me. So no real problem with it, especially being a couple years old now. But really just kind of basic graphics that you would expect in a shooter at this time in 2019, or well, this one I do believe came out in 2017. They're actually working on new ones, I do believe. I think Sniper Elite 5 is in the works, so definitely keep an eye on Rebellion developments because they're doing a lot of big things. They also did develop Strange Brigade, which I did want to throw out there because that is the big one they're working on currently. Moving on from graphics, though, the music and sound it's kind of similar to the graphics in the way that it's flat, it's there, it's good, it's just kind of basic. It's not anything over the top, or like DMC5 had the incredible music that it has, and it's just there basically. It fills its need. It's there, it's in the game, and it's enjoyable. But it's not anything over the top special or anything that I would say you have to play this game to listen to this music, or you have to do this to. It's just not that. The reason that I say you have to play this game are the fantastic gameplay mechanics that they worked into a shooter, and I really do enjoy it. And it is something that's not really, there's no game that I can think of that kind of matches this game. Well, Hitman is pretty similar in that factor, I guess. But those are 2 very good games, so I'm saying you should definitely play this game. It is very enjoyable. But we're going to move on from there and go into the actual story and replayability. This game, like I said earlier, the way that you kill your targets, or the way that you take out your targets, is completely up to you, which makes the replayability of this game massive in my eyes, because if one day I feel like just long-shotting everybody and I just want to be the sniper that I am in the game, I can do that. But at the same time, if I want to get in close and shoot him with my silenced pistol, or stick a grenade to a guy and push him over a ledge and have him kill everybody down underneath, I can do that too. So the way that this allows you to kind of plan out your attack and your plan of attack, I guess, is the best way to say that. The way that it allows you to plan that out and actually create your own kind of takedown of the targets really does add a lot of replayability to the game, because each and every day I can go in with a different mindset and take them out in different ways, and they all are viable. So that's really well done by them. The story is kind of secondary to the actual plot of the game. The targets and the way that you take them out is the big point. There is a story, of course. There's I think it was based on World War II or just after World War II, something like that. I'm not 100% positive. Don't quote me on it. I've played the game quite a bit, and it's just not, the story doesn't capture me, I guess. The gameplay captures me. So I know it's a sin, but I skip through some of the cutscenes. I skip a lot of it because I just want to get into the gameplay, and it is really enjoyable. So I am sorry I couldn't bring you that, guys. But it's a very fun game. It is also on Game Pass, so this week, I think last week's was as well. The Indie Adventures are kind of double whammies, so they are, if you have Game Pass, it is a free game for you to download and take a look at. So I hope you do enjoy it. As always, if you do, let me know why in the comments. If you don't, let me know why still, because I do want to pick the right games for you guys, and I hope you enjoy them all. But that's all I've got for you today. So as always, if you do enjoy it, leave a like and subscribe, and have an awesome week.